All right, good morning. It's a little dark in here today. It's shitty out. Welcome back, everyone. Happy Friday. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Eh, it's all right, guys. Don't worry about those people. It is what it is, my friends. Welcome back, everyone. How we doing? Happy Friday. Pura vida. That's right. All right. Foolish. It should be back on the main ESNQ. It takes a few days for TOS to roll those contracts, so that's why. Sometimes it takes a few days. Alrighty. Well, today, let's make it a quick one. It's Friday. It's been a little bit of a stressful week for me. Just can't help the feeling of feeling like I missed out on some juice this week. There has been some sick moves. You know, when you have a week like this where everything just goes straight up, it sort of makes you feel like you wish you were in everything. But I guess that's why we have the long-term portfolio. So that's great, right? We're still making money with the shares that we own. So that's a plus. But, of course, you want to take it with options. You know, you want to be taking everything with options, of course. Yesterday, took a loss. Red day for me yesterday. Pretty foolish, I would say. No pun intended, foolish. Let a trade idea that probably wasn't as A+ as my others sort of take my focus yesterday. You know, Meta and Broadcom were the main ones heading into the day, and then MRVL, sort of little sexy MRVL in the corner over there, sort of took my attention, and yeah, not good. Was just not correct on it. Ended up being correct, later day, but just sort of sucked. But that's it. It is what it is. Every opportunity, there's always opportunities every day. So, yeah, we'll find another play as we, always do. Today, some interesting stuff going on. Some news with Trump about power, AI, and looks like a lot of the nuclear stocks sort of getting a pump on that. So Oklo is a really interesting setup today. I'm going to talk about that one. Obviously, the semiconductors are staying hot, so those are going to continue to be nice. Meta, obviously perfect. Looking for that all-time high move. NVIDIA, all-time highs. AMD 144 is a very big spot today. So some good stuff out there. Some really good stuff out there. Let's keep close watch on them, and let's just stay locked in. But yeah, I'm very excited for the weekend. I think this weekend is going to be really good for a lot of us. A little mental reset after a pretty hectic week, and then just come back next week ready to rock and roll on these opportunities. You got some Akko 56 calls? Nice. Yeah, Amazon. Sorry, that's the one I forgot. Amazon 220. This one looks big. This one looks really good. So some nice stuff out there. Google also possible catch-up move out there. So still plenty of opportunities, guys. Don't let these moves this week make you feel like you didn't miss, or make you feel like you missed it, right? The goal of a successful trader is to make the best trades. Money is secondary. So another good quote there. Money comes secondary, right? Let's just keep taking good trades, and the result of those good trades will be money. Closer, appreciate that, Closer. Scouting, appreciate that, bro. Thank you, guys. All right. Well, today we have some economic data. We do have PCE price index and consumer sentiment at 10 o'clock. So something to be aware of there. We'll have that on the during the live stream today. And then we will be announcing the winners of the live streams at the end. So stick around. If you guys won the live stream, there's going to be an email in the description. And you're going to have to send me an email with a screenshot of your YouTube username. That's really the only way for me to do it. Unless I can try to reach out to you directly on YouTube, then I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do that, but I will try. But, yeah. So that's what we're going to have to do. Reach out to me. Emails down below. If your name is picked today, hit me up, and we will get you the winnings. All right. Here we go. Let's dive in. So, today, bringing everything over here. I have messed a little bit around with TradingView today, so that was sort of fun. I do like TradingView, I'm not going to lie. I like it. It's very quick, snappy, which I enjoy. Sometimes TOS feels a little bit slow, so yeah, I'm going to think about it. I'm going to use both probably today and just sort of get a feel for it. But today, NASDAQ futures, very, very clean. Yesterday, our 22,635 was a key spot. The move yesterday on the QQQ back down to previous all-time high was money right here. So yesterday morning, we had that little drop lower into the previous, pretty much the previous day high and the previous all-time high, and that was a beautiful drop and pop on the QQQ yesterday, reclaiming that pre-market high, and then from that point, just grinding. Previous day high now around the 546.50 spot, and something that got me pretty good yesterday, guys, just to be honest, and something I would provide a piece of advice for. In this market, with this sort of grind higher that we continue to see, right? I recommend to always look for the gap fill in this current market, right? That's what sort of got me yesterday. I didn't allow the market to pull back and fill the overnight gap before looking for the long opportunities. I got too aggressive early morning, a mistake of mine. There's no one else to blame but myself on this one. Got too aggressive on an individual setup, did not allow and did not sort of take into consideration the gap up that we were on. The market fills the gap and then rips, right? And so I'm sort of in that loss, and then I watched the market do exactly what I expected. And that's just a timing problem that I had yesterday. I got too excited about a possible opportunity, and that was a fault of my own. So today, and I think moving forward, if we continue to get these sort of grinds higher in the pre-market, which we continue to see, we're gapping up in the pre-market almost every day of the last few days, and I would really focus on waiting for gap fills before taking longs. I think this is going to be the right way to approach this market. I know it's going to be difficult because you're going to get really excited in the morning to just sort of continue this move higher without a gap fill. But I think the proper idea and proper mindset is let's wait for a gap fill and then look for the long. And so for me, I think that's on the QQQ at least, back down to that 546.50, right? Back down to that previous day high to fill that gap. And then we look for that pullback long, right? That's where I think the best opportunities are going to come. So this is pretty much the same thing on the NASDAQ futures, right? Here on the NASDAQ futures, we have popped into this contract adjusted all-time high, which is technically, I guess it's, depends on if you use contract adjusted or not, but this is the contract adjusted all-time high, which we're sitting at right now. The previous high a day is down here. Previous high a day is down here around the 22,680, 22,700, right? So I would look for that, right, to see if that is an opportunity today. If we do see some downside early morning, do we fill that overnight gap, right? And do we find that next long? This is possibly something to be paying attention to, in pretty great detail in the future. Can't talk, sorry. So something to watch, something to pay attention to. There's a lot of consolidation here in the pre-market, but I really think that waiting for these highs right here is the right move to not get stuck chasing gap ups, right? The worst thing and the worst feeling, and that's pretty much the feeling I got yesterday, right? And it's a terrible feeling, is to be long in a straight grinding upside move and still lose being long, right? Because of your timing, right? So timing is going to be crucial to continue to ride this uptrend. You have to make sure you're still in at the good points, right? You can't be chasing the highs, and that is something I recommend today. So a little bit careful here at this 22,771. Looks like there is some rejections coming in, and maybe you can pop in a little level here around this 22,725, 26, 25 area here. Possibly a little bit of support that steps up there at these lows. But if you break that, then I think you're trading back down to that 700 to 687 area here. If you break under yesterday's highs, right? If you break under this previous day high, then you're probably going to trade back to the 22,634. Okay? So this is pretty much the same thought process on the QQQ. You can see the QQQ has a couple of these lows right around this 547.70, call it, right? Not really a big level. This is not a big level. This is just sort of a pre-market shelf. If you break below this, then I'd say there's a very high chance of trading back to previous day high, right? And then previous day high would be the long opportunity I would look for right down here. If you break under previous day high, then I think you do see potentially some downside towards that 544, which is that yesterday very strong hold area. So that's that. On the S&P 500, you guys can see we're sort of pushing into this 62.15. This has been a level on our charts, 62.15 rejection. Something to watch out for today, right? We can see we failed here in the pre-market. We got a little pop above, but we're sort of under pressure back below it. So this is definitely an area to be cautious of today, 62.15. Pullback longs, I think, are pretty solid around this 6,200, 61.95 area, right? We can see this high from yesterday, this high from yesterday, these holds right here, these holds right here. I like this area as a pullback long today. I would be watching that. That would be a gap fill as well, right? Which we're talking about is probably a good thing to look for, is those gap fills. If you break back under this high right here, right? If you break back under that, then yesterday's 61.75 was a thing of pure beauty. Yesterday in the live stream, we had two key levels to watch. That was 61.60 and 61.75, right? 61.60 and 61.75 were our key levels yesterday, and man, were those clean. I actually took a long on the ES off 75 yesterday, which was really nice. Actually, no, sorry, 60. Took a nice long off 60 yesterday, which was awesome. Really nice long on the ES. Was it off 60 or 75? I don't remember. No, it was off 75. 75, and then targeted, I think it was the 80s, 85s. So got about 10 points there on the ES. Really clean 61.75 level. I would look for a pullback to 6,200. I would look for pullbacks to 75, 60, right? These are the best levels. And then obviously careful up at the 61 or 62.15 spot there. Okay? All right. 1 second. All right. It was 75, right? Yeah, I know Sasha remembers. That was a nice one. SPY. So SPY, this is something to watch. Now, this is probably the clearest thing to watch today. This is similar to QQQ yesterday. Remember yesterday we were watching that previous all-time high level? Right around that 543.30 spot, right? We were seeing if we would hold above that high. Look at what's going on here on the SPY today. The SPY is above all-time highs. This is new all-time highs on the S&P 500 ETF. Let me just double-check that before I'm talking BS. That is, yes, that is in fact new all-time highs on the SPY ETF. And we can see that you have a very clean sort of pullback and hold at that level today, this morning, right? So this is it, right? I think this is the main thing to be watching today. And that is, do we continue to hold above previous all-time high on the SPY ETF? If we do, that is potentially your long today, right? Right here. Previous all-time high retest is potentially the long that you want to be looking for today. If you break back under that high into end of week, that is somewhat of a cautionary move, and maybe that would require, or it would, it would lead to some deeper pullbacks. Now, previous day high on the SPY is at 612, so this is all a gap up here, right? So maybe you want to look for that previous day high to get filled today, right? Gap fill back to previous day high. That is also a very valid idea to be looking for. So previous all-time high, previous day high, I think these are proper levels if you want to build a real trade off of today. That's what I would wait for, personally. The 611 was a thing of beauty yesterday as well. You guys know that that was our key spot yesterday. 611, if you have my levels, you know that was on there. 611, 611, thing of beauty on the longs off 611 to end the day. So, nice levels yesterday. Looks like clean levels today. You've sort of in this lockout rally. This is just sort of like a melt higher that we're currently in. Obviously we want some pullbacks. These pullbacks create opportunity. Pullbacks create opportunity. You're probably going to want to pull back at some point here, guys, to create that next big opportunity. So, don't find yourself chasing too much today on Friday. I think you want to still set up proper trades, man. I know this thing could just continue to rip higher. And it could, create that emotion of like, man, I wish I was just in this. But I think you got to really stick to finding good trades. All-time highs, previous all-time highs, previous day highs, I think are first great two watches. And then, of course, that 611 spot. I would watch to see how we react off these levels if we pull back to them. Okay? IWM, big test today, guys. Over 216. This could be a big day for the IWM. Maybe you even look to take the IWM long versus the Qs or SPY today. Sincerely. Like, this actually might be the right thing to look for. Look at the IWM here. IWM has gotten above the daily 200 SMA. It has gotten above this previous high. This is interesting today, guys. This is a big break for the IWM. If the small caps can hold over the 200 SMA... If the small caps can hold over the this 200 SMA and 216, this is quite interesting. This is quite interesting. I would be watching this today. 200 SMA IWM. If that holds, I'd say 218, 220 is your next targets. So keep an eye on that IWM today for sure. Dow Jones. Oh my God. Yeah. What was our futures trade idea that we had last few days? Longing the Dow off the 200. Well, there you go. There's 500 points off the 200 SMA for you on the Dow Jones. That is absolutely sick. So, with that said, those are our futures levels. How do we look? 2,300 people here, 600 likes. Ouch. Press the like button. This is giveaway day, and we're not even pressing the like button. If we don't get to, how about this? If we don't get to 1,000 likes, we're not doing the giveaway. I know we're going to get to 1,000 likes, so that's why I say that. But I'll still say it. If we don't get to 1,000 likes, the giveaway is canceled. Cancel it. SMH on an absolute rope. No other words to describe this move on the SMH. This is a rope. Yesterday, we talked about 275. That was the unbelievably perfect pullback. I'm sure you guys remember us talking about this one if you came to the live stream. Double top highs. Look at this, please. That is insanity. That is gorgeous stuff. That is perfection. That is, again, why I'm saying wait for the gap fills, man. All right, this hurts to look at for me because I was long a semi yesterday, but I was long before the gap fill came in, right? And that was just my stupidity. I'll get over it, but it did frustrate me yesterday a little bit. I know better than that. But, the long off the gap fill on the SMH was insanity. Beautiful, beautiful trade. Perfect setup. Broadcom on the pullback long was insane. So, this is why I say this, right? I'm not just spewing bullshit, guys. That's going to be the best trade, right? The best trade is going to continue to probably be pullbacks to the previous highs, fill the gap up pre-market, right? So for me today, it looks like possibly this 278 spot from yesterday's highs could be a nice little spot to watch, right? If you break that, maybe we go back to the 275, right? Look for those pullbacks. 280 is definitely a big supply above, and above 280, we're going to all-time highs. So above 280 here, we're going to 283 all-time highs, and that's really it. And then your blue sky breakout territory. All right. Tesla, absolute shit show. Not interested. Won't even be on my charts today. I will simply do this, and this, and we can save ourselves some time today because that is pointless to look at. What a disaster that stock has been. I'm very curious. I'm very curious to wait to see what the news is on this stock. Something is coming out on this stock soon. It is either insider selling. Something's happening here, right? This is not normal trading for Tesla. Something is behind the scenes, so I would say we're going to hear something soon. I mean, something's going to come out about this. This is insanity, watching this stock intraday. It's so clearly being just controlled. It's very clear. But let's not waste our time on that. There's no opportunity, and it doesn't even matter to understand it, so we just move on. NVIDIA. 157. Over that, I'd say break and retest longs all day for continuation. I'm not scared to look for NVIDIA continuation. Typically, you know, you think NVIDIA's gone too far, and it never has. So I'm going to look for that 157 break and retest today. That is going to be a very nice little watch today for me to see if I can trade that. Pullback longs to 153 would be absolutely amazing. If we can get a pullback long at 153, that is previous all-time highs. That would be the money shot right there. 153. If I can get that, I would love that. If not, over 157. AMD, big watch today, and I'll show you why this is a big watch. If you look at 144, there's a very important thing that has happened at 144. I'm going to show you this right now. See this 144 high right here? Above that, I really don't think there's much until 150, right? This area right here. Above 144, I think you have freedom to 150. And then if you keep going back, let me keep going back for you. At 144, there is a major, major low here. It is right here. 144. Where the hell was it? Oh, maybe it was on the 4 hour. Maybe it was that 145 spot. Did I miss? Oh, here it is. Is this it? Yes. So there's a huge low here at 144, right? There's definitely some reactions at this 144, 144. There's a lot of reactions around this 144 area, and including this high right here. And so I believe if AMD can now build above this 144 zone, I think that's going to be very important. So I'm definitely watching to see if AMD can maintain this. Nice pullback yesterday. I liked the pullback yesterday. This got rid of everyone that's chasing the hell out of the stock, right? Everyone dumped this thing probably yesterday saying it's over. So I'm okay with this pullback. I think this is actually good. We need AMD to cool down a little bit. 142, 144 zone. If we can maintain this zone, I like this into 150. I'm definitely going to watch this. Under 142, though, I think you need deeper. 139. So, looking for this zone to hold tight today. Broadcom. Jeffrey, appreciate that. And you, Jay, thank you, brother. Yeah, Broadcom hurts the heart just a tad. Broadcom hurts the heart. We talked about the long off of the all-time high level at 264 yesterday, and that is the absolute exact thing that it did. Broadcom yesterday pulls back to exactly 264, right? If I can get this chart to look proper, you can see right here, Broadcom pulls back, straight back to the previous day lows, straight back to the previous all-time high, and just rips the rest of the day. So absolutely gorgeous there on Broadcom. Man, is that a beautiful thing. Right here, you can see previous high, lows, consolidation in this channel. Now, guess what? We're above the channel. So, what's next? 270. Pullbacks to 270 is the same exact concept. So now we look for pullbacks to 270. Another great opportunity, all right? Got to keep taking advantage of these opportunities. 270 pullback, something I will be watching on Broadcom. Haven't looked at TSM lately. How's TSM? I mean, TSM's just gone. Oh my God, look at that pullback to 205. Look what that created. Pullback, the proper pullback now is these highs right here, around 217, if we get it. I'm not sure we will, but that will be the proper pullback to look for right here. So proper pullback to look for on TSM, which I think you will get it, right? Once you get a little cool off day or week on the semis, you'll get a pullback here. 217.50, that will be your trade. I'll keep an eye out for that. I'm only going to look for a big trade on TSM here, right? This goes back to, you know, quality over quantity, right? You know, I know TSM probably is going to create some micro trades up in this trend, but I think that if you get a pullback to 217, that's sort of like the big trade you're looking for, right? With a risk reward back to the highs, that's a beautiful setup, right? That's a quality trade to look for. MRVL probably going to fill the gap today, to be quite honest, right? Here's your gap fill that we were looking for, and it looks like it's going to do it. So this was a great call out, great trade idea. Here's where I messed up yesterday, just full transparency. I tried to long it off the 79 level, which was a previous high from back here. 79 was right here, I believe. Yep, right in these, like this little structure here around 79, looking for that gap fill to 83. And it does what it should have done, right? It did what it should have done. And that was a pullback to these previous highs right here. That's pretty much all MRVL did. It was perfect. It's very self-explanatory. And that's where things went wrong for me. So you can see right here, previous high, and that was the exact 77.50 low of the intraday, right? Look at this intraday. Check this out. See this? Bam. Look at that low. 77.50 from that point straight up. Sick. Sick, sick, sick. So, really nice stuff. Looks like it's going to continue today. It's in no man's land now for me, so there's really no trade here. The trade was off 77.50 right here for that upside into the gap fill at right here. So you needed to be long down in this third, right? You need to be long here to target here. You can't be long right here in the middle. So trade's gone, but if you caught it, if you're holding it, man, congratulations. Looks like it's going to fill the gap for you today. Let's go to ARM real quick. ARM looks like a beautiful consolidation. Unfortunately, this is in sort of no man's land as well for me. 162 is a major supply level here. 162, you can see right here, is your next major rejection point. If you get over 162, you're looking at 170 here, guys. So I will watch ARM over 162 today if we do get that move. I will keep an eye on that. I'll probably set an alert here above 162 to see if that happens. Or a fantastic pullback to these lows. Whoops, what did I do? Oh, Jesus. Below, there we go. Okay. We got data in 2 minutes. We've gotten through the semis. MU, post-earnings, 124 could be a watch. We'll go to Meta real quick. So Meta... absolutely sexual chart here, my friends. We talked about this yesterday, right? We had this previous high, bam, 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 bam. We had a 4-hour break. We talked about the Meta retest being the best opportunity, right? We talked about how red days are actually the days that create opportunity, and you guys can see exactly how this played, man. Break, retest, straight up, right? So, I mean, just awesome. That is the break and retest in all of its glory. There's always going to be these setups, so don't feel like if you missed it, you're never going to find it again. It's happening all over the place, and it's actually happening on a stock called Snow today, right? Take a look at this on the 4-hour. What's Snow doing? This is the exact same thing. Snow, previous major highs. Look at that hold yesterday on the 4-hour wick, and look at the exact break and retest 4-hour long opportunity here, right? So just as beautiful. I would be watching Snow over 225.60s today. Look at that 4-hour break and retest. Very, very interesting. We will go and finish Meta after the earnings. Or, I'm sorry, not the earnings. The data that we're about to get. So let's see how the PCE moves the market here. In 2, 1, bam. Looks like... you know, I would love to see this come down today. It would set up better opportunities for us, that's for sure. Not much. Not much yet. Keep me updated if you see anything. NASDAQ is rejecting that adjusted all-time high, 22,770. SPY is... Let's see what SPY does on a pullback. Let's see if SPY gets a pullback to 613 and the previous all-time high. So Meta is approaching all-time highs at 740, so a little bit cautious on that. I would like pullbacks to previous day highs. So for me, pullbacks at the 728 level and pullbacks at the 717 would be the two longs I'd look for. Okay. Let's go to Google. Google is very, very interesting here. Google is possibly on like its comeback era, so I would be watching this. If Google wants to make a comeback, this could be really interesting. 174, 175. If this holds strong, then I think you go straight to 179. All right, you're going to go straight to fill this move here. So definitely watching Google here today, 174, 175. Amazon 220 is actually, wow, it's actually breaking this morning. Look at this Amazon 220, guys. Above Amazon 220, which is right here, there is literally, I mean, there's nothing for me here until maybe 225s, 224s. And then up into the 230s, that's some movement there. And so I would absolutely be watching this. Anywhere back to 219 is still good, right? So technically you could look at the chart like this, in my opinion, right? You could look at it like this, right? On a pullback long at 219, I think is still valid, right? We can see 219 is a very important spot here, even in the pre-market. So I would look to see if 219 holds very strong on Amazon today. If 219 steps up with buyers, I think there is a very, very interesting setup here. Off this 4-hour consolidation, right? And look at the hold above that consolidation high. Also, let me show you guys the daily chart. Take a look at the daily, guys. Remember what we talked about with the daily 20 SMA? Daily 20 SMA, 20 SMA, 20 SMA, pullback. Daily 20 SMA, launch pad, right? Look at the daily 20 just holding this thing higher. So I like that. Over this 219, 220 area, I think you're going to get your 225, your breakout 230. So definitely watching this. You definitely can see that daily candle that's a little sketchy right here. The high of that daily candle is 220. So, you know, depends what you want to look for. Do you want to wait for 220 to hold? Do you want to try to take it off to 219? Maybe you wait for 219 to hold, right? And then a reclaim over 220, that's probably the right move, right? Little 219 step up, retest, rejection, reclaim ripper, right? Off to 220. That could be something really nice to watch. I would be watching this one. Aquo, very interesting today. If I take a look at this daily chart, I'm looking at a sick daily chart break and retest right now, which would be incredible. So if you take a look at this Aquo chart, previous highs, look at that. And look at this 4-hour here, right? Look at the 4-hour on OKLO. Major highs, break, retest, consolidation off the daily 20. Daily 20 caught up to price action. Whew. Say it ain't so, man. Say it ain't so. This is very interesting. This would be something I'd almost take blind with a stop under like 55. Honestly, and just accept my risk because this looks so good. Like under 55, trust the daily 20, right? You got some data this morning or news this morning that helps energy. So that's really bullish for, you know, it's a great catalyst. I would just say, hey, I'm long Aquo, stop under 55 and just, I would target like 100 to be honest. Next expansion move. Could be very interesting here, guys. I would definitely keep eyes on this. If you want to be a little bit more cautious, I would say wait for a break over the 65 spot, right? Because you can see big smackdown 65 the last time this tried to go. So if you want to get a little bit more cautious, 65 could be very interesting. Comfort. Man, Comfort is a note. Comfort, you're a goat, Comfort. I'm just going to say it, man. Comfort's got some of the greatest charts. Comfort definitely has picked up the Desi TA. There's no doubt. Comfort has definitely aligned with the Desi TA. I love to see it. Pump me. He's already on it. He's already on it. what is that? 3 days ago? He's already on top of it. Love to see it, Comfort. Yeah, I'll be watching this. This looks fantastic. It looks fantastic. Now, here's the problem with these trades, right? Here's the one problem that you always have to understand with trades like this, where you're trying to trade a flag breakout, right? You still have horizontal lines that could reject the stock, right? That's the only problem with looking for these flag breakout moves. There is a very high possibility that you get this, right, and then another smackdown, or you get this and then a triple top rejection high. How did I do that? There's a way to like get an arrow. I don't know how to do it. I always never mind. I've done it before and I can't figure out how to do it. I just randomly press a button by accident. Yeah, so like what I'm saying is, you could pop and fail. That's the problem with these sort of flag breakout moves, but if you want risk reward, right? If you want to play risk reward games, then you got to be in, you got to get in before that happens, right? Risk reward is really here, right? This is the highest risk reward entry right down here. So, depends on what you want to play, man. That depends on what you want to play. APP sort of coming back. I would definitely watch APP if it can clear out this 358 spot. If APP clears out this little shelf right here, this could rip straight to the daily 20. I would definitely watch that, right? See this 358 high? If you get a little break and hold above that, I think you're going straight to the daily 20. Especially with how much this was shorted and how much this could just squeeze it back out. Yeah, I would be watching that. Let me make sure I set my alert there. I'm using Demo Pro. It's an app on the Mac App Store on your Mac. You have to have a Mac for it, I think. Netflix pullback to 1300. I cannot believe I cannot believe Netflix is at 1300. Pullback long 1300. Definitely interesting. By the way, guys, if you haven't watched the American Manhunt documentary on Osama bin Laden, I would absolutely watch it. Absolutely an awesome documentary. So in-depth, so interesting. I've learned so much about what actually happened during that time frame and like the things that the U.S. did. It is incredible to watch. I would 100% watch it. Hims. Yeah, Hims 47. Nice comeback day for Hims yesterday. She's trying to get a little, trying to pop a little pill, it seems, Hims. I would say Hims is pretty much a pointless upside move unless it can get back above 51, though. You got to get back over 51, right? You can't really be that long into these lows, so be careful at 51 here, guys. Apple's been shit. It's probably going to wake up because I said that, but we'll see. We'll wait for it to wake up. What else? Hood's not really presenting an opportunity in my eyes. I think you need a pullback here. Oh. Uber. Okay, it rejected. Yeah, Uber's got a heavy 94 spot here. But I would keep an eye to see if Uber can hold above 92.50. Watch this 92.50 spot on Uber right here. Right here, right here, right here, right? This is interesting. This is interesting. If you can get over 94, that would run. I would watch that. It's brand new. It just came out. It's really good. You see like all the intelligent stuff, and it's really good. It's long. 3 episodes of like, it's almost like a 4 or 5 hour documentary. I think that might be it. Top watch today, I would say NVIDIA outside of this channel. I would say AMD 142, 144 zone. I would say OKLO, right? Obviously our GEV stock's going to keep pumping. Love this stock. Best stock ever. What else? I think that's, obviously Meta and Amazon. Those are the other two. Meta We'll look for pullback 723, 717, and then I think one of the top watches for sure has got to be Amazon 219, 220 today. I think that is I mean, there's a lot. And snow, right? And snow off this alert 226. MSTR, you got to wait for this thing to wake up, man. It's been a disaster to trade on the intraday. You got to wait for this to go real time. You got to wait for this to go real time. It's just not in real time. You got to wait for it. Coinbase, big supply up here, 382. If you want to look for Coinbase over 382, that probably rips the IPO highs. So put an alert there. Looks like the pullback longs are fantastic at 362. Look at these pullback longs yesterday at 362. Bam, bam, bam. Look at that. Break, retest, long. That is awesome. That is awesome. Look at that. I did actually, I did create the levels on TradingView today. That is something I did do. Let me go ahead and pull that up. I actually have it. Hold on, I got it all built out on OBS here. Yeah, so I'm gonna start messing around with this. Got all my levels set up on TV, but yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. It's very snappy. Gotta, learn to work with it a little bit, but got the ES supply there. I'm using this nice little tool that you can change, supply or demand, right? I like that. I can draw a little, bam, one of these, right? Like that, nice and easy. Change it to red by doing a little bit of this, bam, red. Oh, nice, I like it. So I'm gonna continue to play with it. Got my PDH, or got my previous high day, previous low day on there. So yeah, we'll see. I'm just doing it to mess around. There's, I like, what I like about TradingView the most, actually? I like this tool, man. I love this tool. This is the best tool in the world. Just one of these right here, right? I think this actually helps you trade because you can actually just sort of like set that up and say, all right, that's my trade, right? I really like this. I really like this tool. All right, so let's say you're like long off these lows at 61.95, right? You throw one of these boys in here. Okay, that's a 3-to-1 risk reward. And, right? Or you say, hey, I'm short off these highs here. I'm going to short the ES here, stop over the highs, going to target the yesterday high day, right? It's nice. I like it, right? I think it's very useful. It possibly creates discipline, which is nice. So I'm going to start messing around with it. There is definitely some pros to TradingView, no doubt. All right. These levels, I'm going to share these levels with the Discord for now. But eventually I'm going to do it like where it's like a daily, you can buy the levels like $1 a day. $1 a day for Desi's levels. All right. Hold on. Let's do the giveaway. Let me pull up. I'm just going to hide this because I don't want my personal information being shared on my YouTube. So bear with me here. Chart Fanatics. All right. So what we're going to do, I'm going to close my eyes. And I'm just going to scroll through the comments. And we're picking 5 people here. 5 people. Let me get this nice and nice for you guys here. Hold on. Let me get this nice and set up for everyone. Let's go here. Let me get my face out of the way. Oh. Where's my face? Get my face. Oh. We'll put my face up here. All right, so you're gonna see. I'm just gonna scroll these. I'm gonna go. How do I want to? Probably want to sort by newest, and I'm just gonna. Actually, no, I shouldn't sort by newest because then that's unfair for the people that are recent. So here we go. Scrolling and stopping. Where's my mouse? We're giving it to this guy. Garage built. Garage built. There's one. I'll screenshot them. Garage built number 1. Okay. That's number 1. Closing my eyes, scrolling, and stopping. Lisa Bodie. Number 2. Stopping. Lance Berryman. Number 3. Stopping. This guy. Hellage B. Can't hear, can't trade. And last but not least, stopping. Great lesson. Shashid Harvin Katesh. Oh, he's part of the insider group. All right. All right, so that's our you guys saw your name. I'm sure you probably saw your name in there. Sorry about that. I mean, I wish I could pick everyone, but then I'd be broke, so I can't do that. All right, so next we're going to check my DMs because this is for the second giveaway. So the second giveaway was on my recent video. It was on my recent video, this one right here. It wasn't in the comments. It was, you actually had to DM me. Actually, yeah, you had to DM me proof. So we're just going to scroll my comments here. We're going to scroll my, can I screen share my, let me see something. Hold on here, folks. I might be able to screen share my DMs. 1 second. And don't worry, my DMs are all from guys. You think girls message me about trading? Nope. It's all guys. How do I check my DMs on Instagram? Here we go. All right. Here we go. We got 2 people. We're picking. Here. Tanmaya, is it proof? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Nope. Not getting it. No proof. Sorry about that. You know the rules. I'm gonna go up and down from here. And here. Natish. No proof. Alright, let's keep going. Here. Hey, we got one. Davies. 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 There's one. Sausage Fest in the DMs. All right, one more. Here. Oh, there's a girl. Oh, nothing. No proof. There he is, Diego. That's it. Maybe someone in here. I don't know. I wish. I was hoping that it would be someone inside the live stream, but maybe next time we just got to keep it for the live stream. Someone just DM'd me. Who's this? Why is my wife in your DMs? You guys see your girlfriends in here? All right. That's all I got. That's our live stream today. We got hey, Davies is replying. He said, "Are you serious?" Sam. What's up, Sam? All right, guys. That was it. Congratulations if you won. Hope you have a fantastic weekend. Thank you guys for all the support, as always. We'll do more of these. Press that like button if you could. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. And best of luck today in the trading. And I will see you guys in the Discord, on the WAP, or I'll see you on Monday. Peace out.